Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Raju from Smart AI Technologies. Today we will be continuing with our 8th class, that is visualization in Excel. So as a part of complete data analysis using Excel course, we'll be taking this today. So if you are new to our channel, you can please subscribe and click on the bell button so you will be notified whenever we come with the new video or next video of this course. So normally we provide so many courses and project supports or technical supports to any startup who need our support in data science, ML and AI. Okay. So let us begin with our work. We are selecting first column graph. Actually in this class we will be exploring all the possible options available for a graph or a plot. So this is our first part of visualization. From next class we will be seeing different type of graphs. But today if you plot any graphs, what are the options are there, what are the different options are there for each graph, that we will see with the help of column graph itself. Okay, in the next class also we will be taking up pie chart, bar graph, but there also we will see these options. Today we'll see them completely. Okay, all the options, all the possible options in graphical analysis. Okay, so our first step is we need to create a graph. To create a graph you can click anywhere, okay, in the empty cell, and then you can go to insert, then you go for the column. Like today we'll take up the column graph. Okay, so column you can select any column graph, otherwise just click on the column graph and just take empty graph. Okay, you have the empty graph. Now if you want to plot, what you need to do to the any data given in our Excel sheet, so just right click on it, select and right click. There you will see option called select data. So when you click on select data, what will happen, it will ask which range you want to select. As our data is column graph, it needs a single column. So in our case I will be taking up age. Okay, so I'll be selecting the entire age column. Then I click enter. So now you see age data is graphically represented. Person 1 is, what is age, 23, 2 22, 3 how much, again 17, and then 62, this one. Okay, so like this the data is plotted. So now what are the things that you can do in this graph, what are the options are there, so how can we make it better? We'll start now. We'll try to understand and apply all those possible options on this graph, and we'll see how can we make this graph better visually. First you need to select the graph. Okay, then you go for the design. Then our first step will be change chart type. Okay, when you click on change chart type, there are so many options in the chart. When you are going with the column data, for column also there are so many options. Okay, cone options are there. Okay, bar like structures are there. Okay, cylindrical structure are there. Okay, 3D box structure are there. You can go with any one of them, or you try it. Okay, which will be well suitable for your data analysis. As my data set is age. Okay, what is the age of a candidate? So I will be considering this one. Cone will be good, visually good. Let me take this. So now you can see, okay, it become a conical, and you can change the colors 3D. So better I will change to some other type. Cylindrical, so it's a 3D, so it's going the 3D diagram. So let me come to 2D first, then I will change it to some good visual looking, maybe this one. There you can see, okay, the data is represented with the different visual effects. Okay, 3D are like that. Now I'll come to 2D and I will try to apply the next technique. Okay, now it's 2D. So now next what we can do, there is another option called switch row and column. So in some cases what will happen, you can switch, interchange it. But as I am drawing a column graph, if I do, even though if I do switch row and column, it will not normally, because my element only one column is there. But when you plot bar graph, okay, where x and y will be two columns, x one column, y another column, in that case it will exchange. Okay, so for that you need to select the graph, you need to switch rows and element. But in my case it will not happen. The reason is that I am going with the only one column as I'm trying to plot column graph. So whenever you plot multiple column based graphs, for example bar graph, in that case it will be very useful for this step. Then after seeing these two things from the design part, we can use our layout options. We'll move to our layout. From layout, first our selection will be format selection. Under format selection, what are the options are there? What does this mean? For example, if I do fill, under fill no fill is there, solid fill, gradient fill, picture and automatic. By default it will be automatic. What will happen if I click no fill? You see the entire white background is removed in the graph, so you can see the back the lines in the back. Okay, so it become a transparent, so nothing is filled in the background. What will happen if I do solid grid? So we can change any color, the background will change like this. Okay, so what will happen? Gradient color, again you can select some colors and it will be setting the color. Okay, for example here you see, so that you can see the gradient colored. Okay, shady color will come. Picture, okay, or now you don't want any color in the backend, you want to add a picture in the background, you can add some picture. Okay, to make it visually good. Otherwise you can upload, you can insert some files from your computer where they will be displaying in the backend. Okay, so then comes automatic. So automatic will be having nothing, so let it be automatic. If you want to change color, you can change the color. Okay, these many options are there in the fill. Then what is the border color? Again, if you add a border, say solid line, we will add a solid line. The borders will be added here. Borders will be added to this graph. So border colors also you can set, size also you can set, and border style also you can set. Okay, what is shadow? Shadow, like it will reflection like stuff. Okay, it will give a shadow. For example, if I say black, you see there is a shadow here down the graph, or this side down you can see that a shadow, I think. Okay, down, so you can increase that. That is increasing, shadow is increasing, but we don't need actually that much of shadow. Little bit is fine. Okay, if you want to go with shadow. And again there are some 3D options are there, you can add some good visually good looking. Okay, in that graph the border now it looks somewhat thick. Okay, so I change it. Okay, and bottom also I can change to this. Changes will be implemented to this. Okay, you can see visually it's bit changed, the graph is bit changed. So when you see it now, when I remove it, I can see down there is a shadow and the border is somewhat thick, it was not thick before. You can go layout again for format selection. Okay, so these many we saw what they are and how can we use them. Then our next one is chart title. So our chart is not having any title, so let us give some title to it. So what are the options are there again? Above chart, centered overlay title, or none? Where you want title? For me, I want above the chart. Above the chart. Above chart is actually a good option. So here you can give any title saying is analysis of employees. Okay. So age analysis are like age plot we are doing. So that's what you can write title. If you do centered overlay title, what will happen? It will come on the it will come on the graph, that is analysis of employee will come on the graph. So we don't want, normally we don't want like that. Okay, so otherwise if you do none, there will be no title at all. If you do about chart, it will be good looking title on the chart. And there comes access titles. There are no titles given to any access here, so how can you provide them title saying down on down is like candidates or employees? The y-axis is, you can say it as a their ages. Okay. Let's go to axis, and first we'll check with horizontal and title below the axis. Okay, now what title you want to give here, you can type it. In our case it will be employee ID. Which employee is that? Okay, that will be, come to layout. Now access title, horizontal is done. Then you can go for vertical, rotated, vertical title, horizontal title. If it's a rotated, then it will be very good. So let us give a rotated title saying ages. Age of employee, age of employee and employee ID. So now you provided nice ID, like label to the x-axis and y-axis. Now our option is legend. So for legends, these many options are there. What is this legend? Legend is this. Okay. So what are the options are there to give a legend? Legend will try to give us a color for a particular parameter. In our case, there is only one element or one variable, output variable. In some cases, there will be multiple, and each element or each variable, each value will be given a particular color. For example, here I have only age. If I add a salary here, salary will be with some other legend, some other color. So in that case, we can go with this legend. Okay, so in our case we'll go legend. So legend at top, you can make it, and legend will come here in the top, and you can change its location. So legend at bottom, so legend at right, it will come to right. It was at right, okay, normally. So overlay legend at left, it will overlay on the graph itself if you do like that. But if you want more options, okay, if you want more options, here they are available. Okay, where you want to keep them, what you want to give border, how should be border for the legend. Okay, what should be the border style, do you want any shadow there to the legend. You can change even font and colors. There are so many options even for the legend also. Once we are done with the legend part, we'll go to data label. Data label, what are the labels we can give? What is data label? Nothing but, for example, here there is a bar going up at 1. So now it is having some age, but it is having age 28, but it's not displayed there. So how to display it? How can we display that? That you can do with data label. So if I say as center, so now you can see that in that bar in the center the value is displayed. If I give it at the inside end, at the end of the bar, okay, inside 28, 21, 23, 22, 17, the value is written. Again, if I take outside end, on the top it will be written. Now you can visually see it, and you can see the you can read the numbers. Okay, where you will even get better analysis. Okay, just graphs you may get confused with the graph, but now it will be very clear with the values. For that purpose, to get the values in the graph, we go with the data labels. And then comes the data table. So we don't normally use, but if you want to show, like in my case, if I want to show the data table, it will draw this like this. Okay, it means it will try to show the data which is used for to plot the graph, okay, as a table like stuff below the graph itself. But we don't normally want that feature here. Okay, normally when it comes to analysis, even we need only the graph part. Visualization, when it comes to visualization, we don't need table here, because we already know that what table we are using. And then comes the access, again same, you can rename, you can do like those things. Okay, So when we go with primary horizontal axis, okay, show axis without labels or show right to left axis, for example, what they will do, okay, let me tell you. Show left to right axis. One second, let me increase it. And then comes axis, horizontal axis. Now vertical axis will take. So axis in log scale. If we reduce it using logarithmic values, now you see the data is reduced, the data size is reduced, log is applied to the base 10, log is applied and their values are reduced. Those values you can see. Same thing I can do for vertical is so actually thousands. Actually our data is very less, okay, as the ages it's already very small. So normally when the data is very huge, if you are working with the salary data, then salary data is very huge, then to reduce the scale you can go with conversions, okay. So logarithm transformations, what we say, logarithm transformations are in thousands transformation or millions transformations. These are the transformation techniques for that data. Once we have this graph, what is our next step is that grid lines. So there are no grid lines now. Horizontal grid lines, you can say major grid lines. You will get some major lines here. Okay, let me, by default axis it, if it's a default axis it will be very good, okay. So then I will go to grid lines here, say major grid lines already available, major grid lines are already available horizontal, okay. So now I will say minor grid lines, small grid lines. So you'll get small grid lines also, the lines which passes through the graph. And then major and minor, both of them, okay. Then vertical also you can say major and minor. So now it will be box, it will be like a normal graph that you plot in your pages in the notebooks, okay, graph notebooks or graph pages, okay. So it will be having both major and minor what do you say, grid lines within it. So now there is another very most useful, okay. So many people don't use it, I don't know why, but you have that opportunity here, your analysis will be very meaningful. For example, there is an option called trend line. What are the options are there in trend line? For example, if you want to know how these things are varying, so if I click on linear trend line, it will give me this, okay. Okay, as this is increasing, almost there is an increase in age of the employee. If the data, our data is sequential, if we properly arrange our employee informations, maybe in make, for example, how it gives his insight, when our employee is increasing, for example, age of employee is increasing, in this case it's not that much relatable. But in some cases, for example, if down was instead of employee id, it was, for example, if you are going to bar graph, in that case it will be very useful. For example, down is a age and y axis is a employee salary. In that case, if you go for trend line and if you click for linear trend line, it will be giving you a proper insight saying how the data is changing with the age, how the salary of the company is given with the age, whether that is increasing or slightly increasing, or how it's impacting, okay. Those information we will be getting from this trend line. The trend line will give a proper insight. We normally, when we work with a Python, in the C bar there is an option called rel plot, relation plot, which also works exactly like this. If you give any two variables, two columns, it will try to find out the relation with them, okay. It will not just plot a line graph, it will not plot a bar graph or scatter, okay. It will try to find out the relation between them, okay. So trend between them, how it's changing, based on that it will plot the graph. Even if you want any moving averages, it will give moving averages again, a mathematical functionality you will be getting, so that the analysis will be very good. So here you see some information is above average, okay, some information is the below some information is below average, and how it impacts, where we should concentrate more. Okay, all these things are there. This was all about today. From next class, we'll be taking up few more graphs. There we'll be actually plotting the graphs instead of studying one by one element. We'll be using there, okay, but we'll not be discussing this much. We'll be using there all the elements, and we'll be plotting some good looking graphs, maybe pie chart, maybe bar graph, maybe scatter. Okay, if you watch our video till now, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Okay, thank you very much for watching.